Hey, beautiful soul. If you're watching this right now, chances are you're feeling a little uncertain, you're feeling stuck, and you might even be feeling a little lost in your life. And I just want to start this video by saying this. You don't need to have all the answers. In fact, you're not supposed to have all the answers. We live in a world that celebrates clarity, hustle, direction, and figuring it all out. But nobody really talks about the in-between. The limbo, where nothing makes sense and everything feels undone. So if you're like me, I've been there and I am there again. So I'm really going to share this deep, raw conversation with you as I'm feeling that space of limbo right now, the uncertainty in my life. But I want you to know that I have evidence to show that this is all normal, that you're not crazy, your life is not over. And there are ways to go through this period. So if you're new to this channel, please subscribe or hit the like button or the notification bell. I really don't know because this is new to me. But the reason why I started this channel is because I needed an outlet to express myself. And I needed to share my message with women. And I needed to find a way without planning, without knowing the outcome of this channel, that I would align myself with the right people. And that is my hope during this video. So if this resonates with you, I would really love if you would subscribe and give me a follow. And if you check out some of the other videos, you will see what I'm about. But I haven't shared a whole lot about my journey, and I will be along the series. But today I'm going to talk to you about my limbo period right now, and also times that I have been in limbo where I've had evidence where that doesn't last and that things do come when you're in the right energy. So I am in the limbo period right now where I have been a successful wedding photographer in my industry for 8 years. And I did all of the work to make myself the best. I proved myself. I got the external validation, but I was constantly craving more and more of it until I finally lost myself in that process. And today I'm sitting here almost a year later because I have to book weddings a year in advance. I'm still shooting weddings this year, but my last wedding is going to be in October of 2025. So I'm in this period of uncertainty. I have no idea what's coming next, but every single day I choose to center my mind and my intentions with alignment and the energy that I want to create from that space of love, from that space of what is mine and what is purposeful and what is true fulfillment. And I'll tell you, the reason why I left that business was definitely not because I wasn't making enough money, because I was. It was the fact that my identity was tied to that job. And now I feel like my identity has taken a whole different turn. And if you can relate to this, your identity starts to look very skewy and you start to perceive things as true, not true. People, places, experiences don't align with you anymore. And so if you're in that period of uncertainty and limbo, maybe you've lost friends along the way. Maybe you're looking for ways to find proof that you're going to be okay. But I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to be okay. And I will show you that if you follow along this journey, and you will see that during this process, I will keep you guys up to date on what is happening and show you that things are working out. But from the time I told myself that I didn't want to do this job anymore, I let go of that and I tried to find what it was that I truly wanted. And in that process, I found something else which allowed me to express myself. And I built this beautiful podcast with my best friend. And you can check it out in the show notes. It's called the Hey Soul Sister podcast. And we absolutely love doing it because we're two peas in a pod. We talk about everything under the sun when it comes to women and wellness, personal growth. And we even did a women's retreat this year. So things have been moving, but I'm still in a limbo period where it's like I'm not really sure what is next. What is that next big thing for me? What is it that's going to be stable and secure for me? So I'm sharing that with you because I want you to know that there will be phases of your life that you need to sit and you need to be still and listen to what it is that you truly want and not focus on worrying or the outcomes, because those things will kind of halt your energy in a way where you don't allow those magical opportunities to come in or the downloads to come in. I've been met with moments of regret. Why did I say that? Why did I say I quit? And I felt like maybe I disappointed people, because people would say, oh my gosh, why are you doing this? You make so much money. You're so good at it. Why would you just quit? Well, I couldn't explain to them because they weren't me. They just would not get it. And a lot of us are not happy in our jobs for whatever reason. This was my career, but I knew that I couldn't go on. And I'm 45 years old. There's a multitude of reasons why I didn't want to do it anymore. But at the end of the day, it's me listening to what it is that I want. As crazy as this sounds, my husband is also jobless. So we are in a space of double limbo, let's just say. And the worry comes and goes, but I always know that I'm protected. I always know that I have every tool in my toolbox to create anything I want, but I have to want it, right? Okay, so just because you don't have clarity, it doesn't mean that you're lost. And just because you don't feel momentum, like you're not doing, it doesn't mean that you're stuck. You're just in the season of becoming. And becoming is quiet. It is not a loud process. It's very quiet. It's very subtle. It's very uncomfortable, but it's very necessary. And so I'll tell you, when you are in stillness, that is when you get the questions answered. That is when you get clarity. Because if you go back to a space of who you are and what it is that you truly want, you can start to make aligned decisions as opportunities come up, as downloads come in, as ideas start to present themselves to you. You get to ask yourself the question, do I really want this? And what step am I going to take towards that, without clinging on to the outcome of that thing or the vision of that outcome? You can hold on to a vision, but it's really important to hold on to a feeling rather than a physical outcome. And oftentimes we confuse stillness with failure. People will say, what do you do for a living? And now my answer is, I'm figuring it out. And it's awkward because people are used to you saying, well, I do this for a living, I do that for a living. But now I'm like, well, I'm figuring it out. And that's okay. I've started to create more confidence in my answer, and people are left like, oh, okay. Oh, you're figuring it out. Okay, cool. They don't even know what to say. So I'm putting them in a really awkward position. But I don't even think people should ask that question, honestly. I think that should be like a no-no. Don't ask what I do. Just get to know me for me, right? Okay, so many of you maybe still have jobs, or you have jobs, and that's okay. But you still feel stuck. You still feel like you don't know what's next for you. Maybe you're not fulfilled. Maybe you know that you're meant for something bigger, but you just don't know what that is. You don't know what your purpose is. Here's the thing. When you don't know your purpose, you truly don't know yourself. So if you're not sitting to get to know yourself by journaling or speaking to yourself, you're really looking at the external. You're not looking at the internal. So sitting down with yourself and really getting to know you, who you are inside, going back to that little girl or little boy, if any guys are on this channel, but understanding what it is that she wanted. What is it that she loved to do? What is it that made her happy? What kind of people made her smile? If we look back at our lives and we ask ourselves, oh, why did it happen that way? Why did that breakup happen? Why did that job loss happen? Well, there's usually a reason. There's things that happen which we don't have answers for in the moment. But later on, we have evidence that those things happened because we needed to allow the next thing to come in. And even though it doesn't make sense at the time, later on you see the gold in that thing. I've had so many successful careers because I've chosen just to trust the universal process. Before I was a photographer, I was a successful cake baker, and I had a bakery, and people absolutely loved my cakes. And I used to make these giant wedding cakes and travel everywhere. And you would think it would be a glamorous job, but I started to dislike that too. And one thing about me is that I always feel into knowing when there's an expiry date on everything. And so if I feel like I don't like that anymore and I don't want to be here anymore, I will often ask the universe to send me something else. And when I do that, I'm more hyper aware of things. So when the job came around for taking a picture of a newborn baby, who was my nephew, that sparked my next direction in photography. And I worked hard because I was super aligned with it. I took inspired action for it. It wasn't a forceful thing where I was like, I have to hustle, I have to do this because it's a lot of money. I didn't even look at the money, but the money came. And so I just trust that in this limbo period, that something greater is coming. I don't know what that looks like, and it's none of my business. But when it shows up, I will know. And when that thing shows up for you, you will know. You just have to ask for it, and you just have to sit still for a moment and really get to know yourself on a deep, deep level. You know, trust is everything. Trust and surrender is everything to me. And a lot of people will say, you know, they have to plan for their future. They have these spreadsheets, they have these vision boards, and that's all great. But for me, it's about feeling into the next step, the aligned step, the inspirational guidance. And if I don't hear that guidance, I'm not going anywhere, because it has to really feel good to me. Because if I get something else and I'm not happy in that, it's going to be a cycle all over again. And we all know what cycles do. They repeat over and over again. So if you're somebody who's been in repeated patterns, been in repeated cycles of pain or unfulfillment, or, you know, really even depression and anxiety and overwhelm in whatever situation you're in, then you're not alone, because many of us don't know how to break that cycle. And the thing is like breaking the cycle often is about removing yourself from all of the external noise and changing up, switching things up in your life. Really starting to rewire the brain, having routines that really put you in that energy and that frequency of receiving more and receiving something that's more aligned with you. So whether that be self-care, getting up in the morning, going for a walk, doing some stretches, some yoga, meditation, taking a bath, you know, playing with your kids, things that make you happy, focus on those things. Focus on gratitude. Focus on protection. Focus on the things you have, what you're blessed with. Because at the end of the day, life is short. And tomorrow I'm going to a funeral, and I'm really, really sad about this, because this is a man that we used to see every day at the gym, and he was always giving gratitude to the people around him, hugs and laughs and jokes. And it reminded me that we definitely take ourselves too seriously. We take others too seriously. We judge others too much. We judge ourselves way too much, instead of allowing the process to be what it is, the now, and center in the present moment, rather than looking at what tomorrow looks like and how I'm going to fail, how I'm going to fall, how I'm going to get hurt, how I'm going to be broke. Like, the more you start feeding your mind that stuff, that negative mind, you're training your subconscious mind to think that way. So really you want to rewire that mindset by training your subconscious mind to think positive thoughts, to think about how to move through feeling rather than holding on and controlling the outcome of everything. You're not stuck. You're not alone. You're not behind. You're not broken. And you really don't need to know what's next. This is your permission to let go. This is your permission to say, I don't need to have all the answers. I have a beautiful life in front of me right now that I get to choose how I give gratitude for it. I get to choose how I show up in the world, the kind of person I want to be. Do I want to be a kind person? Do I want to, surround myself with people that understand me or misunderstand me? Do I want to stay in a space that makes me feel like I'm not enough, or with a person that makes me feel like I'm not enough? Or do I want that friendship that I just get walked all over? Do I want to, stay in the job that I'm unfulfilled in? These are questions we need to ask ourselves every single day, and be more aware of those thoughts and feelings, because that'll get you unstuck. And it's so easy to get unstuck when you start listening to yourself. Your only job right now is to breathe. It's to stay present. And it is to know that the next step will be clear when it is meant to be clear. It'll show up. Stop beating yourself up for not being further along. You don't need to be. You are enough, and you're already better than you think. 20 years ago, I moved to Canada without knowing a single soul. I didn't know what this life would look like. I moved from Barbados. I just needed a change. And when I was in the airplane and it was, I don't know, minus 20 degrees, there was snow on the ground, I looked out the window and I said, this is home. I just knew. Your soul knows when those things are right for you. I built a life here. I found careers that I loved. I found my husband. I have 3 beautiful boys and I have a home, and I'm very blessed. And when life feels like it's falling apart, remember all those moments, all those pieces of evidence that you've had in your life, those achievements, those rememberings, those knowings that that thing was meant for you. That's the feeling you're waiting for. You're waiting for something to say, it's go time. Now you can obsess. Now you can take aligned action. Now you can take inspired growth into the space that is meant for you, the one that you deserve, the one that you were born to do. You don't need to settle. So if no one told you lately, I'm proud of you for showing up, for still trying, and for not giving up on yourself. I promise you this chapter will not last forever, but what it's going to do is it's going to take you to places that you never imagined being possible. If you just let go of that control, surrender, trust, believe in yourself, let go of those limiting beliefs, really prioritize you first, and understand that you are exactly where you're meant to be. So thank you for being here. And if this message resonated with you, I would love to hear from you, because we're in this together. Bye for now.